You're at the end of a session with a client and they've evoked a lot of change talk, and they're really in that place of wanting to set a goal. How do you go about helping that client set a goal? That's what we're talking about today in this motivational interviewing tip of the day. My name's Dawn Clifford. I'm a motivational interviewing trainer and one of the authors of the book, Motivational Interviewing in Nutrition and Fitness. And I'm so glad you joined me today to talk about goal setting. Now, one of the acronyms that you may have already heard in helping clients set goals is SMART goals. S.M.A.R.T, SMART. It's an acronym and it stands for S, specific, M stands for measurable. Now the A, I like to use the term action-oriented. Action-oriented meaning a goal that is within the client or patient's control. R stands for reasonable, and T stands for timetable. So I think one of the things that happens when we're working with clients is we invite the client to select a goal, and they pick a goal like eat more fruits and vegetables. But often when we're learning motivational interviewing or we're just starting out in our careers of health coaching, we forget that we really have to help the client kind of talk through the logistics of that goal and really set something more specific. Going about your week trying to eat more fruits and vegetables can be a little challenging if it isn't broken down into a more specific goal. Now, it's not necessary that every client sets a SMART goal. In fact, there are a lot of great goals out there that really aren't appropriate for that acronym. For example, let's say a client wants to think more positively about their bodies. So maybe their goal is to catch negative self-talk about their body image and replace it with positive things about their body. That's kind of a thinking goal, right? So it's a little bit hard to make it a SMART goal. So not every goal needs to be a SMART goal, but certain goals, this acronym can really help. So some examples of SMART goals might be go for a walk 20 minutes 3 times a week, or add a salad to dinner 2 nights a week. Those are examples of SMART goals. They're specific, they're measurable, they're within a timetable, they're realistic, right? Just a few days a week, and they're action-oriented. They're within the client's control. So we definitely want SMART goals to be within the client's control, things that they can change, and not outcome-oriented goals. So those are SMART goals. And how do we invite our clients to set those SMART goals? By asking really good questions. So we might ask, okay, so you've shared that you really want to make this change of adding more fruits and vegetables. What's one small step forward in that process that feels doable to you? And invite the client to share their ideas. You can ask permission to share other ideas if they're feeling a little stuck. And then check in to see, out of all those ideas, is there anyone that jumps out at you as an easy place to start? And then once they kind of figured out that little small change, invite them to think through, how many days a week do you want to try to make that change? Or what would feel like a successful week to you? And then which days of the week might be the best days to try that out? And so you're kind of helping them break it down. Now, sometimes clients set really high goals, like I'm going to do this 6 days a week. And to start, we know that can kind of set someone up for feeling like a failure when they're not able to do all those days. So it's important that we allow the client to set the goal, and we can also sort of check in, like, okay, you set this goal of 6 days a week. How confident are you on a scale from 0 to 10 that you could do this change 6 days a week for the next 3 months? And then if they report a low confidence level, then we can say, what ideas do you have for adjusting your goal so that it feels more realistic, or so that your confidence level goes up in your ability to reach this goal? So we don't necessarily need to use the acronym SMART goals, or that term SMART goals, with our clients. The key is just asking the right questions to invite the client to set a SMART goal, or to set a goal that feels realistic, that's small, it's just one teeny tiny step forward. And then it's really important that we also say, this is just a little experiment to test the waters of change. You can try it out if you're interested between now and the next time I see you, and then we can check back in, and if we need to readjust that goal, that's completely fine. So there should be no judgment or shame in the goal setting or the behavior change process. But when we help clients set little teeny tiny SMART goals along the way, that can help them feel less intimidated by behavior change. My name's Dawn Clifford. Thanks for watching today's motivational interviewing tip of the day. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.